Wow, that's crazy. All right. I don't. I don't even know what the fuck. So I'm live right now. I'm looking at the screen. Let's see. Welcome to chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. I can flip screen. There's a microphone. Anyways, whatever. I wonder if I can go like that. Orientation is locked. Rotate. Okay. So we'll rotate it. Oh, wait, what? Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. So I can only have it like this. Anyways, all right. So this is my first live video. I have no idea what's going to happen. I really have no idea. Okay, so I'll just tell you what I see. Wait, let me. Okay, so what I see on the screen. I'll tell you what I see on the screen. So it says live. This is okay. There's 0 people. Okay, 0 thumbs up. It says top fans. Whatever. So I'm assuming that the comments are going to would go right there if there was people here. Okay, then on this side, I can turn the camera around. There's a mic, which I don't know what the fuck. I'm going to press the mic. So that mutes the mic. What does this do? Oh, it adds effects. I don't want any effects. All right, so get me out of there. Okay, what does this one do? Show live video. Oh, okay, so that. Well, I want to do that again. Let's see. That's crazy. I'm assuming, because it says live and it says 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, then we got some other stupid feature. Retouch. I don't want that. Retouch off. I don't know what that is. Okay, then we've got some other features. Create a highlight. I don't want anything to do with any of this. Lighting. I don't really care about any of that. So close. Okay. All right. So anyway, I haven't done a video in a few days, which is weird, right? And so the live thing is activated, as you can see. The live feature, because I have 51 subscribers. It took a little while to get this fucking feature thing going. Anyways, this is crazy, dude. I wonder what it'll be like when people show up. Well, I don't even know. I mean, if and when people show up. So anyhow, I just turned it on to see if it would work, and it's working. And so I'll just talk about like whatever. I'll just talk about what I've just experienced before I turned the live camera on. So I was watching Black Scout Survival. I'm only subscribed to Black Scout Survival and Asmongold. Those are the only channels, like big channels or bigger channels, that I'm subscribed to. And then I'm subscribed to a handful of small channels. And anyways, so once I'm done doing this live video and I turn it off, which I don't even know how to turn it off. I guess there's an X up in the top corner. That's probably how. Then it should publish. That's what I'm assuming. So anyways, I was watching, excuse me, I was watching Black Scout Survival. And I like Black Scout Survival. I don't agree with everything he says, or, necessarily or whatever, but he actually does provide intel that you wouldn't get, right? I mean, if you've watched him enough, then you know what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm subscribed to him. You know, I'm still a new subscriber to Black Scout Survival, though I've watched him on and off over the years. But I don't think I ever subscribed to him. But he seems like a cool dude, you know. So does Asmongold, but like I don't agree with some. You know, there's things that I wouldn't agree with them on, but that's okay, whatever. But like if I disagree with them, it'll inspire me to do a video talking about my view, what I think. Okay, and so this is an example. I was watching, and this is very common. So I'm watching Black Scout Survival. And then, you know, Black Scout Survival, Jack is his name. He starts talking about, I guess it's recent news that Trump approved a number of millions of dollars more going to Israel, right? He just approved it. And I started laughing and like saying out loud, I'm like, good, that's good, you know? And then, so then they start in on the conversation because Jack has like a guest on and they're talking about all these millions of dollars going to Israel. But it's always the same. Excuse me. So, you know, like try to listen to my perspective. If you're watching this, try to think of it like where I'm coming from. Really try to have an open mind about what I'm saying. I'm going to revisit these points. I've already brought this up many times. Nobody is saying where the money should go. If all this money that Trump is, all this US tax dollars that Trump is saying to Israel, if it should not go to Israel, where should it go? Because this is what nobody talks about this. And so I sat and I listened to Jack and them talking about how this money shouldn't go to Israel and all this stuff. But it's like all of these people, whenever they bring up this money going to Israel, they always tap dance around the elephant in the room. And that is, where should that money go? And the reason nobody talks about where that money should go, well, first of all, no two people are going to agree on where that money should go. No two people. So if Jack started saying, well, I think the money should go here, then you're going to have all these people saying, no, Jack, you're wrong. I think the money should go here. And see, that's why nobody talks about where the money should go. It's the big elephant in the room whenever these millions of dollars going to Israel comes up. And this is why nobody talks about where they think the money should go, is because they're going to get a bunch of backlash from their audience. And so they can complain about the money going to Israel. But as soon as they start talking about where that money should go, everybody's going to get upset. And, you know, and this is the thing. People get funny about money all the time. Whenever money comes up, everybody starts getting all weird. This is the elephant in the room. This is why nobody talks about where all that money that's going to Israel should go. The reason nobody talks about it is because everybody starts getting weird. Because everybody wants that money for themselves. Everybody feels that they're entitled to that money, that money should go to them. That's why it'll never get addressed. See, the people in power use the elephant in the room against you because they know none of you people have the balls to talk about where that money should go. Like, for example, if you run a channel that has tens of thousands of subscribers and you start talking about where you think that money should go, your subscribers are going to start turning on you because they're not going to agree with you. That's why these bigger channels don't ever want to talk about where the money should go, because their audience will start turning on them. Because no two people are going to agree on where that money should go. And the people in power, they know all this, so they use it against you. They use this elephant in the room against all you people, because they know none of you people has the balls to talk about where that money should go. And this is the other thing. Everybody with half a brain knows that the money should go to the people most in need of that money. That's where it should go. This is another reason nobody wants to talk about where the money should go. It's obvious where all that money going to Israel should go. It should go to those Americans most in need of that money. Which group of Americans is most in need of that money? The Americans that are most hated by their own people. The homeless. See, you see, I know I'm right. Like when I listen to myself explaining this, it just pisses me off because it's totally obvious. All the entire American population hates the homeless American population. The entire American population ignores the homeless population. Which population in America is most in need of money? Homeless Americans. This is why nobody wants to talk about where that money that's going to Israel, where should it go? See, everybody wants to complain about that money going to Israel, but none of these complainers want to talk about where that money should go, if not to Israel. That's why when Jack brought up the most recent news is that Trump is sending more millions of dollars. He just signed off that he's sending more millions of dollars, and I'm like, good. Because the thing is shit has to get really bad before people will pull their head out of their fucking ass and point out the elephant in the room. Shit has to get bad. See, everybody is too comfortable with ignoring the elephant in the room. That's why nothing ever works. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to ignore the elephant in the room, but they want to act like that there's important stuff we need to talk about, when everybody knows that the most important thing to talk about is the elephant in the room. So they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to still be able to ignore the uncomfortable truth of the elephant in the room, but yet they want to talk about all these millions of dollars going to Israel. There's an obvious answer to the question. All that money going to Israel should go to those Americans most in need in this country. But those Americans most in need in this country are all the ones that are hated and ignored. That's why. So things have to get worse. Like homelessness will have to increase by like 5 to 10 times what it is now before it'll even be on the table for discussion that maybe this money going to Israel should go to help Americans most in need. Right now, they don't want to talk about helping Americans most in need because they're comfortable with ignoring Americans most in need. It's like on the battlefield. You want to talk about like war and military and stuff? On the battlefield, which soldiers are most in need on the battlefield? The injured. That's why they have medics and all this shit. You know, no man left behind. That's part of the code of the military is you fucking help your wounded. Right? Well, that's the way America should be. It's just like in the battlefield, just like in the military. If you have over 1 million wounded fucking Americans and you want to ignore them because it's inconvenient for you to get the fuck off of your ass and try to do something to help all these wounded Americans in your own country, well, then you don't deserve that money that's going to Israel. You get exactly what you deserve. That's why, again, when Jack mentioned about all those millions of dollars going to Trump, I'm like, or all those millions of dollars going to Israel, I'm like, good. Because that's what needs to happen. It needs to get worse. How many millions of Americans need to be wounded before you know, the medic goes out and starts realizing that there's a problem here and we need to start helping these wounded soldiers? How many millions? Even though it would just be more convenient to just ignore them, pretend like all those wounded soldiers don't even exist, like they're not even there. You know, think of it like war and military. You've got well over 1 million U.S. homeless citizens that are eating out of dumpsters and sleeping in bushes. Where should that money that's going to Israel go? It's obvious. It's like the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. And that's why that money will continue to go. Because until you have a reason to stand against all that money going to Israel, well then, why even bring it up? You don't even have a reason to stand against all that money going to Israel. Your only reason is because, well, you could use that money to get a nicer car and to have a bigger house for your family. That's why? Well, who fucking cares? Nobody gives a fuck. A disconcerting 8+ billion people are struggling to put food on the table. And the only reason you want the money to stop going to Israel so that you can have a more comfortable life while you ignore well over 1 million homeless U.S. citizens that are sleeping in bushes and eating out of dumpsters? Like, this is the elephant in the room. And all these Americans, these mass hive mind of NPC Americans, they're very content and comfortable with ignoring all of this suffering of their fellow Americans. They're totally cool with ignoring them. But then they want to complain about the money going to Israel. You see, this is the thing, you guys. You gotta stop assuming that the people in power in the capstone are stupid. Because if I can see right through all you guys' bullshit of how you don't give a fuck about helping anybody but yourself, and then you go on and on complaining about the money going to Israel, well, it's dude, I can see through your bullshit. And if I can, why would you even assume for a second that the people in power don't see through your bullshit? You stand for nothing. When you pretend to stand against all that money going to Israel, you stand for nothing because you can't even give a good reason as to why you stand against that money going to Israel. I can tell you, I have to give you the answer as to why you should stand against all that money going to Israel. I have to tell you. The reason that money shouldn't be going to Israel is because all that money could be helping the over 1 million homeless U.S. citizens that are sleeping in bushes and eating out of dumpsters. But the majority of all you people, you don't give a fuck that all these Americans are homeless, sleeping in bushes and eating out of dumpsters. So if you don't care about your own American citizens, then why should anybody care about you while you go on complaining about money going to Israel? This is the obvious, ugly truth. This is why it's not popular to talk about. You know, I got a fucking viewer. What's up? I'm live, man. Anyways, whatever. So I'm just kind of I'm just venting about, people complaining about money going to Israel. Who fucking cares? Who cares? I mean, it's stupid, dude. So anyways, I don't want to rehash what I have to re-explain everything. This is the first time I've been live, so it's new. So I'll just kind of recap. So I was watching Black Scout Survival, and they were saying that like Trump had just signed off to send another fucking bunch of millions of dollars to Israel. And I'm like, good. I'm laughing, you know? It's like, and then that's when I started going off on my tangent about why I think the way I do, is because nobody can give a good reason. Nobody can tell me where all that money should go. If it's not going, fine. If it stops going to Israel, fine. But where should it go? I want to know what this good reason is. Like, what are we going to do with all those millions? And nobody wants to talk about that. Like, nobody does. I see this all the time. I see people complain about the money going to Israel, but nobody's ever talking about where that money should go. And I find it highly suspicious. It's like in investigation tactics, there's a phrase that says the absence of evidence is evidence of absence. You know, I mean, and if you just think about it, it makes sense. The absence of evidence is evidence of absence, right? And so, like, there's this absence of explanation as to where should all that money that's going to Israel, where should it go? Nobody ever talks about where it should go. All they ever do is complain that it's going to Israel. And like this absence of discussion on where that money should be going, if not to Israel, is highly suspicious, because it's bullshit. Really, it's just a bullshitter that thinks he's bullshitting people, but he's not. Like, everybody can see that the only reason you don't want that money going to Israel is because you want it for yourself, so that you can have a nicer car and a bigger house. You know, you don't give a fuck about, like, where should the money go? And I have a good proposal as to where that money should go. We got over 1 million fucking homeless U.S. citizens sleeping in bushes and eating out of dumpsters. The answer's obvious as to where the money should go, but nobody ever even. Dude, look. Just say it. If you want that money for yourself and that's why you're upset that it's going to Israel, then just be honest. You don't have to fucking lie to fucking hang out, bro. Just say it, that you want that money for yourself, and fine. But see, nobody cares. Nobody cares that you want that money for yourself because everybody else wants it. If the stand was that money needs to stop going to Israel because we have fucking millions of people in this country that are in need, well, then like, that's totally logical. Like, nobody could argue against that. And if enough people said, yeah, we've got all kinds of fucking homelessness and shit here, we can't afford to be, well, that makes sense. And who can argue against that? But see, nobody is saying this. Nobody is saying, hey, all that millions of dollars going to Israel, they could go here. We got all these fucking homeless and poverty and homelessness all over every fucking city. Nobody's even saying that. And so it just pisses me off, dude. Like what pisses me off is people are full of shit. You know, they're just full of shit, dude. They don't have any good reason to stop that money going to Israel when there's every good reason to stop it going to Israel. You got well over 1 million homeless U.S. citizens here. That's like, there is no better reason to stop all that money going to Israel. There is no better reason. So then why isn't anybody saying that? And this is what's super fucking crazy, is because the masses of U.S. citizens are comfortable with ignoring the homeless. The masses of U.S. citizens are comfortable with ignoring and hating the over 1 million U.S. homeless citizens in this country. They're comfortable with that. They have no problem with that. And so they want to have their cake and eat it too. That's what it is. They don't want that money that's going to Israel to go to help the U.S. homeless. They definitely don't want that. But they want it to help them, to help themselves. See, you want to have your cake and eat it too. And that's what's so dumb, is like, And this is why nobody talks about where that money should go, is because they should be. It's embarrassing. People just are fucking selfish, self-centered fucking cunts that just want more for themselves and to be able to continue to ignore everybody else around them that's in need. And that's why they never talk about where the money should go. All they ever do is complain that it's going to Israel. And it's obvious. Like, it's obvious. And that's what I was saying too, is all these people, all these American citizens that are like this, which is the majority, has to stop. They have to stop believing that the people in control are stupid. Like, the people in the capstone that are in control of this country, they're not stupid. They can see right through all you people that are complaining about the money going to Israel. They know that all you people complaining about the money going to Israel, you don't care that money should be used to help all the people in the United States of America who are in need. You don't care about that. You just want it for yourself. And the people in power at the capstone, they're not stupid. They know all this. That's why they know they can get away with continuing to send all that money to Israel. Nobody has any real reason to stand against that money going to Israel. Nobody's coming forward like a stand. Like, what do you stand for nothing. You stand for nothing. Like, why do you want that money to stop going to Israel? And so anyways, it's just this ongoing, nonstop bullshit, and everybody's doing it. Everybody's complaining about the money going to Israel, but nobody's talking about where that money should be going. And it's totally obvious why. It's because they want it for themselves, and everybody can see it. It's not like, so it's just a bunch of bullshit. And so, so when I found out that Trump signed off to send more millions of dollars to Israel, I just started laughing. And I literally said out loud, I'm like, good. And so I'm kind of recapping while I continue to rant. Part of what I was saying earlier is it's good that all that money keeps going to Israel, because things have to continue to get worse and worse and worse before people are actually going to truly make a stand against any of this. Right now, they don't want to make a stand. They don't want to take a risk. They just want that money to stop going to Israel so that they can have it for themselves. It's a meaningless, like, who fucking cares about you and what you want, your comforts and nobody gives a fuck, because everybody else wants it for themselves too. I don't know, bro. It's just trying to understand people. This reminds me, a friend of mine. I'll tell this story and then I'll cut it short. So this is my first live stream. I'm assuming once I cut it off, then the video will publish. So whatever, but that's what I'm guessing. All right. So anyways, I'm going to end it with this story. So I was in this band, right? And we were about to play a show with Extreme Noise Terror. And Extreme Noise Terror is as big as the band Napalm Death. Like, Extreme Noise Terror is up there with Napalm Death. Like, they're on par. They come from the same genre and stuff. And so we were playing a show with them, right? And and so the band, we all agreed that we're gonna meet up at 6 o'clock or something at the band practice space to load up all our equipment so that it's ready to go for the show the following evening. And I'm like, okay. So then at 6 o'clock, I show up, and Kenny's already there, and Kenny's already loaded and shit into the fucking van, and it's just me and him. And there's like 4 other band members, and I was kind of confused, I was like, what the fuck? Because I'm newer in the band, right? And so, but I was all excited because we're playing with Extreme Noise Terror. And so then I just jump in, I start helping load shit. And then like 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by. Nobody shows up. It's just me and Kenny. And I'm all jacked up for this fucking Extreme Noise Terror show. And I'm just totally blown away. Like, where the fuck is everybody? We got this killer show, and everybody agreed to get here at 6, and nobody's here but me and Kenny. And so finally I stopped and I stopped Kenny and I said, bro, where the fuck are these guys? And he's like, I don't know, man. And he just kept loading shit. And I just like stopped and I was looking at him and like, what the fuck, dude? This is crazy. And so then as he's walking by me, I said, bro, doesn't that fucking piss you off? Like, what the fuck? We got this big fucking show, this fucking like seriously cool fucking show. And nobody's even here to show up to help us. Where's the rest of the fucking band? And he stopped and he set the shit down and he looked at me and he goes, dude, if I tried to understand the stupid shit that other people fucking do, it would drive me fucking insane. And then he just walked off and went and grabbed more equipment and started loading it again. And he was totally zen. Kenny was totally fucking zen. And this is the thing, trying to understand all this stupid shit, it'll drive you fucking nuts. Like me trying to understand why is everybody complaining about all this money going to Israel? Like, it's stupid. It's just like Kenny said. It's just like he said, if you try to understand all the fucking stupid shit that's going on in someone else's fucking brain, it'll drive you insane. So all these people on the internet are constantly complaining about all this money going to Israel, but like, that's all they do is complain. They don't have any, they're never talking about, well, where should that money go if not to Israel? Nobody has the answer. I've been begging somebody give me the fucking answer. Hey, what's up, brother? I'm live right on it. But anyways, yeah, no, nobody wants to see, and I feel like I'm the only one who sees this pattern. Like, this is a very fucking recognizable pattern. I'm always hearing people complain on their videos, big channels, talking about all this money going to Israel, but none of them are ever talking about where that money should go. And so, what, do I have to like read their mind? I have to read between the lines? And that's exactly what it is, because they're playing fucking games, dude. They're playing games. They don't want to talk about where the money should go, because everybody knows. Everybody knows. Like, okay, what am I trying to say? Innate. We're all born with innate knowledge. We're all born with innate knowledge. Okay. Now, if a person were to listen to their innate knowledge, there's an obvious answer as to where that money should go. All that money that's going to Israel should go to the Americans most in need in this country. It's an obvious answer. But nobody wants to see it, So anyways, I've gone off on this for 30 minutes. I'm going to cut it short, but I'm going to be doing more live videos. But so I'm assuming when I cut this short, it'll publish. So if anybody wants to check it out. But anyways, thanks for commenting, dude. And thanks for watching. But yeah, so this is my first live stream. So far, I like it, and I can see the comments, and I kind of went over everything that I can see. But and I didn't even really plan on doing the video. I just, out of curiosity, fucking around, and it worked. So I decided to just roll with it. And but anyways, all right, I'll cut it off, and I'll be back soon. See you, boys.